What up? It's your man, Jimmy Chan. All right, let's get LabWork 9 answer key done here. All right, so the first one, we are looking for distance, and we're given 2 points. So as you guys see on the right, I am writing down things that, may help you or things to remember for the exam. So right now, because I'm looking for distance, I have d squared is equal to negative 5 square root of 17 minus a negative 4 square root of 17 squared plus 2 minus 10 squared. All right, so let me go ahead and do the math here. Since I have a negative 5, so these are like radicals, so I can actually add them together. So I look at the negative 5 minus a negative 4, which means negative 5 plus a 4. So I'm going to have a negative 1 square root of 17, which in actuality, I don't need that 1 anymore, okay? Squared plus a negative 8 squared. Okay. All right. So from there, d squared is equal to, now, when I square this, when I square products of two numbers, because it is really negative 1 times square root of 14, so it's really negative 1 squared, which is positive 1, and then square root of 17 squared is just going to be 17. Plus negative 8 squared is going to be 64. So we add them together. So that's going to be d squared is going to equal to, actually, let me do it this way. I'm going to go ahead and take the square root here and add those two together, which is 81. So therefore, my distance is equal to 9. All right. So, and that is going to be choice D. Write that 9 there. There we go. All right. And there we go. That's number 1. All right. Next is number 2. So we're going to convert. We're looking for the center and the radius, so that we know where to plot the center and then the radius, and then from there we'll know which graph it would be. All right. So I put the steps down here. So step 1 was to group the x's and the y's and move the e to the other side. So step 1 would be this. I'm finding x squared plus 10x. So I'm grouping the x's together. And then I got the plus y squared plus 8y. Those are grouped together. And then I'm moving the positive 37 to the other side. In order to do that, I have to subtract 37 to both sides. So that's going to be negative 37. All right. So part 2, or second step, says to find a new c for both the x and the y. Okay, that's why it says c sub x. So basically, I'm looking at this one over here, and based on this 10 here, my new c, or the c for my x's, is going to be b divided by 2 squared, which is equal to 5 squared, which is equal to 25. So once I find that, it says to add it to both sides. So I got to add here, and I also have to add it here. Then I got to find my c sub y, and that's going to be based on this here. All right, so that is going to be same thing, b divided by 2 squared, which is going to be 4 squared, which is equal to 16. Okay, so I got to add 16 on this side, and I have to add 16 on this side. All right. All right. So now, the part that you guys need to remember, I always tell you guys to do the work here, because this piece is kind of important. I'm trying to think of what colors to use, because that, that's okay. I'll do that. And then I gotta select this one. There we go. All right. So that is what step 2 is. Step 3 says to factor the left side. So I got to factor the x. So my x is going to be x plus 5 squared, plus my y is going to be plus 4 squared. And that is going to equal to negative 37 plus 5 plus 16, which is going to give me a 4. Okay, let me see. 37, negative 32. Oops, nope, it's not going to give me 4. Is that right? There we go. That will give me a 4. That's better. Okay. So now I can find my center. Okay. My center is going to be negative 5, negative 4, because what you need to remember is that I have an equation that says, let me do it this way, bring this down a little bit, because I have an equation that says x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared, right? So my center is hk, so that means it has to be negative 5, so that would be x plus 5, and it has to be negative 4, so that would be y, because of the y plus 4. And my radius is going to equal to 2, because r squared is equal to 4, so that means r must equal to 2. With that being said, negative 5, negative 4, so that looks like it's going to be choice B. Boom. There we go. All right. So that's number 2. All right. And on to number 3. So we have this equation that's given to us, and within the problem, it tells you what x represents, which is the pretzels, and the p of x represented the profit. Okay, so my first step is, do I have a function of what you're trying to maximize? And yes, I do. And so therefore I should probably make this red, because that would be the so-called function of what I want to maximize, right? I want to maximize profit. Okay, so since I want to maximize profit, this is a function of profit, right? So using the function, find the axis of symmetry. Okay, so when I have this, so if I have f of x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, my axis of symmetry is x is equal to negative b over 2a. So from there, I will find my axis of symmetry, which is x. Let's do it this way, which is going to be x is equal to negative 2.4 over 2 times negative 0.004, right? All right, so, and I'll leave that there. That. Go. There we go. All right. So what's that going to equal to? Looks like that's going to equal to 300. Okay. Now, it just comes out to be where, if you look, pretzels is X, right? And the question is asking me, to maximize profit, how many pretzels do I need to sell? And since I already found my X, that means I have already found my solution, okay? So even if you found, now the third step says, find the value of the function necessary. So if it was to ask you, hey, what is the profit? Then yes, you will have to go to the profit function and find the profit when 300 pretzels are sold. And then you'll have to go negative 0.004 times 300 squared plus 2.4 times 300 minus 200. So then you'll have to do this problem here if it was asking you what the profit is, but it's asking you for the number of pretzels that would take, okay, to maximize the profit. So therefore, I don't really need this at all right, which is awesome. And since I already got what I need, so the answer is going to be 300 pretzels. Not pretzels, which is choice C. Boom. There we go. There's number 3. Number 4, maximizing the area. Okay, so again, find the equation for the material and find the area function. So because I'm maximizing area, so the function has to be based on area. So the material I have is 18 inches and it's going to be bent up. So I'm going to have the bottom of the gutter and I'm going to have the sides of the gutter, right? And the sides of the gutter, I'm going to call Y just because they're, along the lines with the y-axis, and the x is the base or the bottom, and because that is, going along with the x-axis, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. So I need to find the equation for the material. So the material is 18 inches. Well, the 18 inches is going to be the the y plus the x plus the y, which is going to give me 18 is equal to x plus 2y. Okay? Now, because I need to, actually, you know what I should do? Make this red. And then keep that red marker. And because I want to find the area, right? Because that's what I'm trying to maximize. So that shaded red area that you see here, that is what I got to find. Well, that area is going to equal to just base times height, which is x times y. So, and then step 2 says is a system of equations. Okay, so I do have 2 equations here. Here's one, here's the other, right? So what I'm going to do now is with this equation right here, I'm going to go ahead and get x by itself. So x is going to equal to 18 minus 2y. Or better yet, I can call this negative 2y plus 18. Okay? And that's my x value. So I'm going to now take this and plug it in here. Okay? So to plug it in there, I'm going to have area is going to equal to negative 2y plus 18, which I'm replacing for the x, and times the y. So that means I have to distribute. So area is going to equal to negative 2y squared plus 18y. Okay? So this is similar to the form of f of x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, right? So my a is negative, so that means I will have a maximum because it's going to be a frowny face. So I'm good there. So my next step is to find the axis of symmetry. Well, axis of symmetry is x is equal to negative, in this case it's not x anymore because in this function is a function of y. So it's y is going to equal to negative b over 2a. So that's going to equal to negative 18 over 2 times negative 2. So here I'm going to get a negative 18 over 4. Actually, should be positive 18 over 4, which is equal to 9 over 2. All right. So that's my axis of symmetry. So that's my y value up in this picture. So in other words, this y is 9 over 2. The question is, so if you look at number 4 here, or step 4, it says find the dimensions and the value of the area function if necessary. Meaning, if the y doesn't answer my question, then I should go ahead and find my x, right? And to find my x, well, cool part is that I have an equation right here in regards to my x, okay? So I could just go, all right, so x is equal to negative 2 times that 9/2 plus 18. Okay, so I got to plug in the 9/2 here. Okay. So negative 2 times 9/2 is going to be negative 9 plus 18. So this is going to x equals negative 9 plus 18. So therefore, my x is going to equal to 9. All right. So the question is, what is the question to you guys is what is the question in the problem asking for? And it's only going to ask for determine the depth, all right, how deep this gutter is, which it would be my y value. It doesn't ask how wide it is, but how deep is it? So which is my y value. So therefore now I do have my answer, okay? I already had my answer. So then I can just say, well, depth is equal to y, which is equal to 9/2. And that one is your choice B, which is 4.5. And there you go. So in other words, you really did not have to find the x value at all. Come on. There we go. So you didn't really have to find the x value at all. I could have been done with the whole problem already. All right, if I just kept in my mind what they were asking for, okay? All right, so number 5. So number 5, let me flip the page here. Number 5 is asking for the axis of symmetry, okay? So in order to find my axis of symmetry, when it's in this vertex form, I need to find the vertex first, all right? And since the equation that I know is that f of x is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. My vertex is hk, right? So it'll be 4, 7. Okay. So from there, I can find my axis of symmetry. Now my axis of symmetry here would be a vertical line going through the point 4, 7. Well, that vertical line is going to be an x equals equation. So it's going to be x equals to that x value, which is the 4. And with that being said, that would be choice D. Okay, that gives you an arrow, apparently. Didn't know that. All right, so there we go. All right, on to number 6. Number 6 wants me to find the vertical asymptote. Okay, in that case, I need to find my restriction. So number 1, I take the denominator and set it equal to 0, or say that it cannot be 0. So that means I have x cannot be 0, and the x plus 4 cannot be 0. Okay, so again, x cannot be 0, and x cannot be negative 4. Okay, so in that case, if I took this problem right here and simplified it, so let me go ahead and take this right here and duplicate it and bring it back down. Okay, so if I take this equation right here and if I was to simplify it, would you agree with me that the x's would really cancel, right? So with that being said, let me bring this over here to the side, it's easier. With that being said, since the x canceled, right, that means the one with the x in the equation here is your whole. And the one that did not cancel, right, if not cancel, then that is going to be your vertical asymptote. All right. So in that being said, that would be choice A. There we go. All right. All right, to number 7. Number 7 wants me to find the domain. So first, I need to find the restrictions, which again, I take the denominator and say that it cannot equal to 0. I can factor that because that's the difference of 2 squares. Then I take each factor and say that it cannot equal to 0. X plus 1 cannot equal to 0. So x cannot be 1 and x cannot be negative 1. All right. So with that being said, my domain would be for all x such that x is all real and x cannot be negative 1 and x cannot be 1. That is a really bad bracket. There we go. So let me bring this back over a little bit because that is choice B. There we go. There we go. All right, so that's number 7. All right, number 8 horizontal asymptote. So first step is to compare the highest power on the top and bottom. So the highest power on top is the 4x squared, and the highest power on the bottom is 2x squared. So that's what I'm comparing to. So question is the top power larger than the bottom power? If the top power is larger than the bottom power, then there's no horizontal asymptote. If the top power is less than the bottom power, then the horizontal asymptote would be y equals 0. And if the top power is equal to the bottom power, then it's going to be the ratio of their coefficient. Okay? So meaning this. So I'm comparing that. So step 2, I'm looking at it. So now, since the powers are the same, it's going to be 4 over 2. So that means y equals 4 over 2. So that means y is equal to 2 would be my horizontal asymptote. Excuse me. And that is choice B. I'm on number 8. Yep. There we go. And there we go. All right. So that's 8. So number 9. System nonlinear equations. So I always talk to you guys about this. Right? We always look at those two. And this tells me that this is going to be solid. And this tells me that it's going to be dotted. There we go. Okay. So that means I'm going to go ahead and graph this one here. So if I have x squared plus y squared equals to 81, what I actually have is a circle with a center at 0, 0 and a radius of 9. Okay, so again, I would take this right here, how do I want to do this? Let's go with every line is 2, right? So 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. So if that's the case, then I'm going to have a circle centered 0, 0. Number 1, I need to center this. Number 2, I got to make this to 9. There we go. So if I was to test, right, I need to test a point. So let's test 0, 0, right? So is 0 squared plus 0 squared less than or equal to 81? Right? Is 0 less than or equal to 81? And the answer is yes. Okay, so that means this is going to be shaded within the circle. Then I want to take my second equation, which will make it to be, let's go purple. So I got y minus x squared is greater than 0, right? So I already said that it's going to be dotted. So if I have y minus x squared equals to 0, I have x squared, it should say this. I have y is equal to x squared, which is really a parabola. Okay? So the parabola, if you were to look at it, is going to, if I was to make a table, let's just make a table really quick, just so that we can see what that looks like. So if I was to use, let's say, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Actually, let me make these a little better looking. 1, 2, and 3. So all I'm doing is squaring them. So I'm going to have a 9, a 4, a 1, a 0, a 1, a 4, and a 9. Okay, because I'm basically taking those numbers and squaring them. So if that was the case, so I got 0, 0, I got 1, 1, I got -1, 1, I got 2, 4, -2, 4, and then 3 is going to be 9, and -3 is going to be 9. Okay? So essentially what I have here is this dotted line. That's going to be my parabola. And this dotted line here. Okay? So let's test the point. I cannot test 0, 0 in this case. And the reason is because 0, 0 is actually one of the points. So I can't test that. But I could test, let's say we test a point inside the parabola. So let's say like 0, 4. Right? So is, let me see here, y. So 4 minus 0 squared, is that greater than 0, right? So 4 minus 0 squared. 0 squared is 0. 4 minus 0 is 4. Is that greater than 0? And the answer is yes. Okay, so that means the shading is going to be on the inside as well. So if you look at this, the area shaded the most is your solution. Okay? So with that being said, that means all of these right here are not my solutions. And what it actually is going to be in this area right in here. Okay, within that blue part and the purple part. That would be my solution. So to demonstrate that, I would say S, the circle around it. There we go. So there's my solution right there. And that graph looks a lot like B. Oh, sorry. It's C because the letters are underneath it. So this is going to be choice C. And there we go. All right. So that's 9. So number 10, rational function. Okay, so when I did this in class, I was confused why there was no symmetry, and it is true. There is no symmetry because as you look at it, remember our y-intercept was whacked out. So because the y-intercept was at 0, 0, there couldn't have been that symmetry around the origin. So the first step is going to be symmetry. So since I have f of x already, let's find negative f of x. Well, I have to negate either the top or the bottom. Let's negate the top. So that would be my negative x. So now what I gotta find, you know what I should have done? Let's make this different color, like orange. There we go. All right. So first step is that I gotta find f of negative x. Well, that's gonna be a negative x minus 2 over negative x squared minus negative x minus 30. Okay, so my f of negative x is going to equal to negative x minus 2 over still x squared plus x minus 30. Well, this does not equal to f of x and does not equal to negative f of x. So no symmetry. Okay, so that's step one. Step two, I have to find the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is that x is equal to 0. So step 2, intercept, which I know that x is equal to 0. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring this down. So the x is equal to 0. So I'm solving for this right here. Okay, and that means that f of 0, is negative 2 over negative 30, which is 1 over 15. So that means I have a point here, okay, and my point is 0, 1 over 15. All right, so that's what I got right there. And this, if you notice, because it's just not at the origin, it takes away from that symmetry about the origin, okay, and symmetry about the y-axis as well. All right, so next thing I gotta find is the x-intercept, and that is y is equal to 0. Well, that means, I'm gonna come back up here. Let me just copy this. It's probably easier. This way I can just do this and just paste it. So if I had to, what I'm gonna do is, because the y value is equal to 0, that means what I would do is that I'm just gonna replace the f of x with 0. So this is gonna be 0 is equal to x minus 2 over x squared minus x minus 30. In order for a fraction to be 0, the numerator has to be 0. So I don't even need to care about my denominator. Okay, so I can just use the equation 0 is equal to x minus 2. All right, so if that's the case, then I get x is equal to 2. All right, so that is going to give me a point as well. So let me do this really quick. Boom. Okay, so what does this tell me? I have a point 2, comma 0. Okay, so now I have 2 points already. All right, and I know it's not symmetrical. So step 4 is the vertical asymptote. Okay, and the vertical asymptote is that I need to go ahead and factor. So first thing I gotta do is paste this right here. So let's go ahead and factor this. So f of x is equal to x minus 2 over, this is going to be x minus 6, x plus 5. Okay, so for the vertical asymptote, I have factored. Now I'm looking for restrictions. And this is going to tell me, because basically I'm taking this and setting it equal to 0, so it tells me that x cannot be 6 and x cannot be negative 5, right? Does anything cancel? No. So since it doesn't cancel, it tells me that I have a vertical asymptote at x equals 6 and x equals negative 5. Since there can't be an x value, that's why we have a vertical asymptote. Okay, so I have all of those things so far. Excellent. The next step is going to be my horizontal asymptote. For a horizontal asymptote, I'm comparing the power on top with the power on the bottom. Oh, that's supposed to be all green. At least this part is. So let's change that to green. And pick my green marker here. Okay. So I'm comparing the highest power on top with the highest power on the bottom. Okay. And since the power on top is smaller than the power on the bottom, that tells me that there is going to be no horizontal asymptote. Okay? Actually, no, I'm sorry. The other way. That tells me that the horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. Yes, because as x goes to the infinity, the x on the bottom is going to grow so much faster that essentially the top is going to feel like it's going to be a very, very, very small number, so basically 0. So there's my horizontal asymptote. Awesome. And then the last is the plot points. So one of the things I say to you guys with plotting points is that we should make a table. And I should definitely look at my vertical asymptotes, which was, where is it? 6 and negative 5. So, so let's say I use negative 5. So I should take 2 to the left of that, negative 7. Oh, how about negative 6 and negative 7? 2 to the right, negative 4, negative 3. And then I have a 6. 2 to the left is 5 and 4. And to the right will be 7 and 8. Okay? So what I want to do now is to plug these in. Actually, you know what? Let me see. Whoa, this is going to go into 2 pages. All right. So I probably should spread these out. So I got negative 7, negative 6, negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative, that's it. And then this was 6. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. Okay, so let me do this. There we go. All right. So this is going to be 8, 8, 8, 7, 7, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5, 5, 4, 4, 4, negative 3, negative 3, negative 3, negative 4, negative 4, negative 4, negative 5, negative 5, negative 5, negative 6, negative 6, negative 6. There we go. All right. Woo! That's a lot of work, huh? All right. Okay. So that's what I had to look for, huh? Let's see here. Take my good old calculator out. All right, let me clear that. So I have parentheses negative 7. That's what I gotta do. Minus 2 divided by negative 7 squared minus a negative 7 minus 30. I got negative 9 over 26. Negative 6, negative 6, negative 2/3. Excellent. So we know this is undefined. That confirms I entered everything in the calculator correctly. And this is 3/5. All right. This is 5 over 18. negative 1/9. Not getting any pretty numbers. Negative 3/10. This should be undefined. Yeah. Five over 12. Nope, sorry. This is undefined. This is 5 over 12. And last but not least, three over 13. Okay, so this is about 0.23. This is about 0.42. This is about negative 0.3. Negative 0.11. 0.28. 0.6. Okay. Awesome. So now I got a bunch of points here. So let's go ahead and see how well we graph this. All right. So let's see here. What do I have? No symmetry. I got y-intercept of 0 and 1/15. So 0 and 1/15 is probably somewhere here, right? Very close to the origin, but not. I have the point 20. I have a vertical asymptote at negative 6 and 6 and negative 5. 2, 4, 6. And negative 5. 2, 4, negative 5. All right. Whoa. Okay. All right. What else do we got? And then we have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. Okay. So that's what I have. Okay. So, and that's all I have. So it's really hard for me to try to graph this in any way. Okay. So that's the reason why I need the points, is for that reason. So at negative 7, it's, oh, I forgot to get those ones as well. Go ahead and write those down. This is approximately negative 0.67. And this is approximately negative 0.35. Okay. So if you notice, from negative 7 to negative 6, right, it's going down, right? It's staying on the negative side and it's going down. So negative, something like this, and then something like this. Okay, so that means it's going downward. So that tells me that this graph is going to go in this direction here. I'm trying to think of which way is better. Okay. All right, so then I got to look at, and it's undefined, and then to the right side I got kind of the same thing, right? Same idea, close to being the same thing, but it goes 0.6 and then about around 0.3, right? And then on the other side, let me see what's over here on this side. You know what? Let me do this really quick. Let me take that out and take that out. Take that out. Okay, let me keep on going here. So the left side of the 6, I got 0.1 and 0.3. 0.3 and then 0.1. So it's going to be here and then here. Okay, that tells me a story right there of how these 4 points or these 6 points are going to connect in a way. And to the right is 0.4, then 0.23. All right, but above 0.4 and 0.23. Okay. All right. So, to me, this is what it should look like. Ooh, if I was more artistic. This makes me nervous. What about, you know what? Let me just use dashed lines here. Probably easier. Okay, so that's probably what that looks a little like. If I had to guess, I would say this, because this is going up. And then this would be going down. Go. All right, so the graph should look something like that. And what choice is that? Ooh, sweating here. Sweating here. Looking. There it is. Okay, so it looks like choice D is your answer there. And sorry for the video, because obviously this problem is the one that takes the longest. All right, well, if you have any questions, let me know. Good luck on studying. See ya.